Most people assume reasonable suspicion means an officer just has a feeling. It doesn't. Reasonable suspicion is a defined legal standard. It requires specific, articulable facts. It allows a temporary detention, not an arrest. It is lower than probable cause, but it is not optional.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Car to Car. I'm Ramon.
And hi, I'm Dana, and today we'll discuss the question, why do officers still struggle with the definition of reasonable suspicion? What are your thoughts?
I think this is actually a pretty simple one. It's not probable cause, it doesn't rise to that level, and it's above your own thoughts yourself. This is one of those situations that you need to be able to articulate why you stop someone, why you pull someone over, why you are engaging with the community. And so I think sometimes a lot of police officers are unable to truly articulate why they're pulling someone over, because I think they're afraid of thinking that, okay, I don't want to show that maybe I'm racist or I'm biased or anything like that. But I think it's okay to be biased to a degree because there's some things that we're taught that are bias based that helps us to make a traffic stop. Let's say something like loitering and prowling at a time, in a place, in a manner. So we don't have enough to make an arrest, but we have some information that makes us say, okay, this doesn't look right. Let me see what's going on. That's a reasonable suspicion. So then once we see that a crime has occurred, now we can take it to the next level. So I think just a lot of officers are not comfortable with being able to articulate certain situations and being able to explain away. But you need to be able to explain. I think it's just that part of it.
I think so too, and it just if they remember specific observable facts of a crime that is occurring, was occurring, or about to occur, specific observable facts, more than just walking down the street. And walking down the street could be an observable fact if it's at a time and a place, say in a warehouse, 3 o'clock in the morning, no one's there, no business is there, and you're walking around, then that's an observable fact because that's not normal for someone to be walking around at that time, to your point, and then you stop them. But you need to be able to observe facts that support the stop and articulate that as well. Because sometimes people just believe I'm the police and I can just stop people for any reason and they have an obligation to speak to me. But if you don't have any observable specific facts that a crime is occurring, was occurring, a bolo, or be on the lookout, they fit the description, or anything that you can articulate on why you stop that person is free to walk and just be. You have anything else to add to that?
Yes, this comes from Terry versus Ohio, a court case where this situation happened where Terry sued Ohio for this incident right here. And so, again, like I said before, as police officers, we're trained, we understand the law, but we have to be able to apply the law as it is written and not based on just our own individual thoughts or anything like that. So you have to be able to articulate, and I think sometimes that's the biggest problem, not being able to articulate.
Exactly. And if you can't articulate it, then leave the people alone. Because you're going to have to explain that later on in your arrest reports, in court, and it's always not a good look when you're on the, testifying and you can't articulate why you stopped a person to begin with.
Yeah. And I think what needs to happen, and we did this, and I know you'll remember this when we first came on, when you come out of the academy, you have all this information and stuff, and you go to roll call, and you're interacting with the senior police officers, and they're making you articulate some of these different laws or some of the different things that police officers are going to get involved in. And one of the things that they will make us do too is if you ask your sergeant, hey, do you have a question? They're going to be like, okay, here's the answer, and do roll call training on it. I don't know how many times I've seen people do roll call training because some situations that they may not have done correctly wind up leading to everybody. Because sometimes police officers, we are type A personality, and we don't want people to know that we don't know what we know. And so I think some of those roll call trainings truly helped us as a group because,
For sure.
yeah. So I think that we need to get back to training, back to roll call training, back to, really being law and constitution driven and with our actions. And so just understanding the law, I think is that first part.
For sure. Just reviewing concepts that you learn in the academy. Sometimes people apply them, and depending on what training advisor they get, sometimes they'll say, hey, forget what you learned in the academy. This is how we do it on the street. So you also always want to reinforce the proper concepts in law in roll call training and different trainings, for sure.
I agree. That's all I have.
That's all I have. So thank you for watching another episode of Car to Car. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe. Please comment. We love comment and the feedback. We appreciate it. Until next time.